Hey Exiles, what's up? It's me again. I'm back again with yet another build, and this time I'm playing the Invoker Monk. I decided for this build to use another spear build. I really like how Twister works with Whirlwin Lance. Um, the Twister has actually been nerfed, but with this build, I'm finding it that it's working pretty good. But yeah, I'll just get started going over my items real quick here. Obviously, we're going to be using Tangle Tongue Forked Spear just because this skill has the highest crit chance of all spears, and it's just really good. You want to get as high of a roll you could get with the critical hit chance. I got pretty lucky with a corrupt on this, and I got a 25% crit hit chance, which is really good. It basically means that I can spend less nodes on crit chance and stuff, and I still get more than 70% crit chance, which is good enough. And then for gloves, I just went for the Hand of Wisdom and Action Spiral Wraps. It's just pretty good because we get a lot of dexterity and intelligence, and that's just a lot of damage. You just want to get good corrupts on this. 1 to 12 lightning attack damage is ideal. 2 sockets also not bad. It's pretty good. And for scepter, I'm just using the Sacred Flame Shrine Scepter just to get that increased extra fire damage because I am running Trinity and we want the 3 elemental damages on our stuff. For this build, I did go evasion rating. So for that, I use Eerie's Ire. I think this item is pretty good just because of the passive that we can evade all hits if we have not been hit recently. And then when we pair that with the node Careful Consideration, I believe it's really good. And it also gives us cold damage, flat cold damage to attacks, which is really good. To solve some of the spirits that I have, I did use the Alpha's Howl Armored Cap just to get another 100 spirit. This cap basically lets me run cast on critical for Sniper's Mark, which is pretty good in this build, and it gives us a really high cold resistance, and then we can just look for the resistances we're missing on the rest of the gear. Boots, you just get boots with 10% increased movement speed, or sorry, 30% increased movement speed. You want to cap your resists on this, so yeah, you can get better boots than mine. Mine is okay. And yeah, for amulet, I just went for the solar amulet. Again, I wanted to use this for spirit so I can run a lot of my buffs, so you can see on the screen here. And then you just go for all attributes, and yeah, and then you want to allocate storm charge for that crit hit chance and increased elemental damage. For rings, pretty basic. For rings, you basically want to get 3 flat elemental damage to attacks, so cold, fire, and lightning is good. If you can get evasion rating on the rings, it's also really good for our build. And then some attributes as well. Actually sort of messed up my ring. This actually had 3 flat elemental damages, but I had to corrupt, and the fire was replaced by the evasion rating. Same thing with this ring. I actually had this pretty good as well. I had flat cold damage on here, but I messed it up, and I think 2 of the stats here was replaced by maximum life and the mana. And this originally had +2 dexterity as well, not intelligence, but I'll take the intelligence. Those are basically my items here. I'm pretty capped on my resistances except chaos, so you can still get better gear here with the resistances you're missing, but otherwise it's been working pretty good for me. And as you can see here, I have 86% evasion rating. It's pretty high. My goal is to get 90, but I'm only level 91, so getting those those extra points when I level up, I would just put them onto evasion rating, and I should eventually be able to reach it at least close to 89. But yeah, just as much evasion rating as you could is good. I'll go over quickly here my passive tree. My passive tree here is very generic. I'm just getting the evasion rating and then crit chance and attack speed chance. We want a lot of attack speed chance actually, because I'm using 2 weapon sets here. I'm using Sky Sliver Winged Spear just because this spear has the highest attack speed roll on the spears, and it's pretty cheap. I do have just the attack speed soul core equipped, so I can get that whopping 40% increased attack speed. And for my passive tree here, if you look, my weapon set 2 would actually have increased attack speed. Just, yeah, we just want to focus on that because it would feel a lot more comfortable having that attack speed when you just attack like that. It's really fast. And reason being is because I am also running scatter shot, so our attack speed would actually get reduced. But with the attack speed nodes and attack speed spear, we basically cancel out the attack speed that we're losing, and it's still a pretty good amount of attacks. Passive tree, yeah. So, like I said, just a bunch of evasion rating. We get the crit nodes, what we want. I am doing a 3-element sort of type of build. Well, that is my build, so not sort of. Just took these nodes here. This nodes is set for weapon set 1, and the points that I'm using that are not on here would be on weapon set 2, which are basically the attacks. Since we're going to be chilling, shocking pretty often, as well as ignite, we just get huge damage increase with these. Then you want to get the crit, and then we get more increased damage with the crits that we're taking. Yeah, projectile speed is really good because our main skill here is Twister. So the Twister would actually do damage once every 6.66 seconds, which is kind of like a long time. So what we want when we cast it is we want it to just keep spinning, and we want to hit as much of our Twister to the enemy. I think that's a bad explanation. Here, just crit, evasion rating. We want to get Falcon Technique for that extra attack speed. Again, crit here, and then just attack speed here. And then I just took these nodes to get the critical hit chance with spear, and as well as critical bonus damage. Careful consideration for me is actually a Megalomaniac. I'm pretty lucky to get this with the Catalysis allocated, which is really good. It's just another 20% increased elemental damage with attacks, and that helps really well with our damage. I chose Monk for this because of these 2 nodes on his Ascendancy. I am the Blizzard and I am Thunder. So the effects of this are we gain 10% of damage as extra lightning damage or cold, vice versa. And whenever we freeze or we shock, we get an elemental shock ground. So this one procs more with the shock ground because we're barely freezing, but we are shocking a lot. So, and this works really well with the Twister, just because if you read real quick here, the Twister would actually gain 50% of its damage as the corresponding type of the ground. So when we shock and then we cast our Twister, depending on what elemental ground you have, it will gain that damage and so on. And another important part here is the Whirlwind. So when it consumes a Whirlwind, it will do 80% more damage per stage. Whirlwinds have 3 stages. So that's about 240% increase on top of our elemental ground, which is broken. I'm not using the Whirlwind one, the melee one, because I don't like the playstyle of it. I chose Whirlwin Lance instead because it has a pretty cool interaction. I'll explain that in a bit. With the scatter shot and then salvo, every time we cast it, we're basically casting more than 3 whirlwinds at once, and this would only have like 1 stage. However, if we do have a frenzy charge, if you read real quick, if we have a frenzy charge, it is we consume that frenzy charge, and the whirlwind will create 2-stage whirlwind, but this actually stacks on top of each other. So if you look real quick, it stacks. So that's stage 3 whirlwind, then we just fire, and then that's an instant stage 3 like bonus on our Twister. A cool interaction with this is normally if our whirlwind is only 1, here, let me just remove real quick, salvo and scatter shot. If it's just 1, it only consumes that, and then it just makes a stage 1 sort of gain bonus damage. But when we have scatter shot equipped with salvo and we shoot more than 3 at once, every time the Twister passes on each whirlwind, it gains the stage of it. So 3 whirlwind, it passes through it. That's an instant stage 3 bonus damage, which is huge. And we don't have to click as much as if we were using the melee whirlwind one, because that one you need to cast it 3 times and then you spam your tornado, and I didn't really like that. I found this more smooth on mapping. And yeah, that's just basically the special interaction that we're using for this. It's just, yeah, there you go. Whirlwind, instant level stage 3 instant bonus damage. And since we're shocking, we're also actually freezing because of Herald of Thunder. I'm running glaciation on this with the cold infusion, so we would also get bonus cold damages and whatnot. For my skills here, pretty basic. Unbound Avatar for that huge elemental boost, again damage. And then we got Twister here. Twister, you just want as much damage. We want acceleration because we want more projectile speed on this, stacking with the passive tree. And yeah, I would run Fire Infusion here just to easily get the Trinity stacks. And then for Whirlwind Lance, the most important here is Scattershot and Salvo. Aside from that, you can just equip whatever. I put Conduction so it could shock more, and then I put Caltrops because this one here would just gives us a little bit more of damage boost. This stacks with our dexterity, and we get a decent amount of dexterity, so it would do okay damage. It does physical damage, but that's besides the point. Then just the basic double Herald setup here with Herald of Ice. We wanted to do lightning damage. You just want to run Reach with Magnified Effect for more area damage. Really good clearing. And then we have Herald of Thunder here. Again, it's just the opposite elements that we equip on them. So Cold Infusion, Ice Bite, Concentrated Effect, Embitter, so it would do more cold damage, which would make it freeze often. And then because of Glaciation, we do more freeze buildup. Cast on critical, I run Sniper Smart with Profusion, so we just get extra charges. It's just really good because our Whirlwind Lance benefits with the Frenzy charge, and plus this would make us do more damage anyway, so it's a no-brainer to take this. I did test this out running Voltaic Mark, but I didn't find it as smooth as just running this with Frostwall. Frostwall is good because whenever we crit so much that we basically spawn Frostwall on every other attack, and it's really good to start avoiding enemy hits as well, because when we spawn the Frostwall, enemies would normally start hitting Frostwall first before they start hitting you, and we destroy it easily. And yeah, it's just extra hits damage, and yeah, it's doing like 1000 damage, which isn't huge, but still extra damage. Then we got Trinity here. Trinity max level. Then you just want to get Fire, Cold, and Lightning Mastery on it to get more levels, just to get more damage as well. Then I have Mana Remnants to solve my mana issues. You want Magnetism, Dissipate, Clarity, Cannibalism, and Vitality, because we are using health costs as well. So this is just to mitigate those health costs, and this would allow you not to spam your life flask as much. And then Wind Dancer for just the extra boost on our evasion rating. And also when we get hit, we can blind enemies and we can push them back. And it will do more damage because we're also using projectile attacks. So if you have this, yeah. And then we're using Frostbolt. Frostbolt is just for bossing. Basically, what you do when you're bossing, you start it off, you just cast your Frostbolt like that, and then you just spam your Whirlwind. We get that elemental damage boost, and since it has that, when we cast our Tornadoes, it would also get the damage boost. And so, yeah, that's just basically the interaction with it. You can run Solar Orb with this with Font of Rage and Font of Mana. It would give you more damage, but I've found it unnecessary because we're using all of our area attacks on our Herald of Thunder and Herald of Ice. So the area of it is really small, and you have to be really close to it for you to start gaining the rage, which I found unnecessary. But yeah, and this was just a good effect as well. We just get that instant elemental damage. We don't have to wait for our skills to shock. That's basically my build. I've been able to do T4 Chest, T4 Orloth. I haven't really worked on my Ritual and my Delirium, but same thing with Arbiter of Ash, but my bosses are basically T16 already. Yeah, you can easily just melt them with this build. honestly, I've had more fun with this build than the rest of the builds that I've done this league, and I entered pretty late, and so this is gonna be one of my last build for this league. I'm thinking of doing 2 more just to go out with a bang. It's been pretty fun. I've used this to try to complete my ritual and my delirium. It's been pretty good so far, and there's definitely more room for improvement. My gems are not even like OP. I could definitely get more damage if I just upgrade them. That's my build. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for everyone that's been watching my videos. I really appreciate all of you. Anyways, hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you on the next build. Peace.